Welcome to Wichita's Biz That Is on KGPT. I'm Tim Witzman, president of the Wichita Independent Business Association, and today we have a very interesting guest. It's Dr. Rick Kellerman, and he's the department head of the Department of Family and Community Medicine at Wichita's campus of the KU Med School.
Yes.
And we'd like to start out just to learn a little about you. Where are you from? I don't even know the answer to these questions.
I'm from Hays, Kansas.
Hays, Kansas?
I was born
Hays, America.
Hays, America, and I was born in Hays. My dad was a high school principal. My mom was a teacher, and so
we got these things in common.
Exactly.
Both my parents.
Yes. So every 3 or 4 years, he'd take a new job. He became a high school principal, and then I ended up back in Hays for high school.
Oh, I know. I went to 7 grade schools. I'm familiar with this
you know
concept.
what it's like.
Yes.
You bet.
So what led you toward medicine, and where did you go?
You know, I kind of always knew that that's kind of where I was going to end up. I like science, but I like people at the same time, and I think I recognized that physicians could contribute to their community, and so it was just kind of preconceived, I guess, that that's where I was going to go.
Then that led you toward family medicine?
Yeah, I think also my concept of being a doctor is to be a family doctor. Those are the type of physicians that sit down, talk to the patients, you develop a relationship with the patient. I still enjoy the science of medicine, and so it allowed me to combine all of those things in being a family physician.
For those who are a little old school, family physician is we called GPs at one time.
Exactly. It's the tradition of the GPs. There's some history here in Wichita, by the way. Back in the late 1960s, it became obvious that with advances in medicine that the GPs had to change. And so there was a physician here in town named Gail Stevens, and he had developed a new type of medical education system right here in Wichita. The old GPs did a 1-year internship and then went out into practice. And he thought that was insufficient, and everybody else thought it was insufficient. And so he developed the modern family medicine residency program, which is 3 years. Along with it is accreditation, so that there are certain standards that have to be met. He introduced the behavioral sciences into family medicine, which meant that there's so much psychology and emotion in medical care. He thought that was very important. And so there was a real innovation right here in Wichita that I think sometimes is really overlooked. It's probably known nationally what he did more than it's known here locally.
And so you went where to school?
Went to KU Medical School. I did all of my clinical training in Kansas City, and then I came here for residency. I did my residency at Wesley.
And you've been, it's fair to say, a leader nationally in what some of the trends in medicine lately, in family medicine.
I was very fortunate. Back in 2005, I was elected president of the American Academy of Family Physicians. And so there was a 3-year period from 2005 to 2008 where you're president-elect, president, and then board chair. And that's just you just can't talk about what a great experience that was. You're all over the country, all over the world, really, and get to meet extremely interesting people and really be on the forefront of what's coming down in medicine.
Since you put a lot of time in that area, and we've crossed paths on some of those efforts, talk to us a little about what's going on in family medicine. What's the direction? What are we trying to achieve there?
Right. Well, we know that the healthcare system in the United States doesn't work very well. And one of the reasons for that is, frankly, we don't put enough emphasis in primary care. We don't put enough emphasis in family medicine. We're a little bit different here in Wichita. We're kind of an anomaly. Across the country, only 8% of medical students go into family medicine, and that is not enough.
I thought it was 40% that were in.
There are 8% that go into family medicine. That is not enough. And we know that if you have a healthcare system that has a robust primary care system, a robust group of family doctors, that your quality of care is better, your cost of care is better controlled, and people like it more. And so one of the theories about why the healthcare system doesn't work well is that we have a very weak primary care system. We invest very small amounts of funding and education into primary care. Again, we're a little bit of an anomaly here in Wichita because 1/3 of our residents here in Wichita are in family medicine. We have a very strong family medicine program here.
And that's very different from Europe, for example, where about 60% of the doctors are toward primary care.
Exactly. That's one of the suggested reasons that quality of care indicators are actually higher in many other countries than here in the United States at less cost. And it's just that, that access to care, getting in, taking care of things early, preventive care, as well as management of chronic care and end-of-life care. Those are all things that we don't put a whole lot of emphasis on in the United States.
Understood. Take me your career path that got
Sure.
you to the med school.
Right. Well, I did my residency here at Wesley. I finished in 1981. That was a time when we really didn't have very many faculty, so they asked me to be a faculty right out of residency. And I did that for a little while and did a what we call a clinical teaching fellowship in Texas. But I really wanted to go back to a small town, and I practiced in Plainville, Kansas, which is north of Hayes, for 6 years. And then an opportunity in Salina opened up to be the program director of the residency program there. And then 17 years ago, the chair position opened up here, and so I moved back to Wichita. My wife's from Wichita, so that made it very easy to come back to Wichita.
You still teaching, or is
Yes.
it purely administrative? At this
I
point?
do a little bit of both. In my job, it's great because I get a little bit of patient care, a little bit of teaching, a little bit of administration, a little bit of helping develop other younger faculty. And so I guess I'm a true generalist in education. Just like medicine, I get to do a whole lot of different things in my position.
Okay, we're going to take a break in a moment, but is this the first class this past year that is going to be 4-year at the school here?
We are now in our third year.
Third year.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a great question, and we can talk about that.
We'll do that in just a moment when we come back
Okay.
for more of Wichita's Biz That Is.